Hello, I'm Richard with Mister Quik. We're based out of Indianapolis, Indiana. We're here at a customer's home in Noblesville. No hot water, and as we're going to do our simple testing of seeing what's wrong with it. So the first thing you always want to do on an electric heater, it's powered by electric that comes into it. So you always can check the breaker, and it's normally located on the breaker panel, and it'll say water heater breaker. So sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. But the first thing to do is you want to grab a multimeter, you want to turn it to voltage, AC power, and you go to your top thermostat here, which is right here. So we get some light on it. And you always want to test the top two screws on the element. That sends the power down to it. And there's our issue. We have no power coming to the heater, which is not going to activate the thermostat to tell the elements to kick on. How a electric heater works, again, sends power down to the unit, down to where we just tested, down to this element here. This element heats the top half of the water. A lot of people think the bottom gets heated first. It's actually the top. And then it sends a signal down here to the bottom element, which, as you can see, the wires come down and it feeds this bottom thermostat and it heats this bottom element. And then your water heater will be completely satisfied, which usually takes about an hour, hour and a half, depending on ground temperature water. You always want to make sure too, when you have an electric heater, you have two thermostats. You always want to make sure they're set at the same temp, okay? This one's set at 125. As you come up here to this top one, it is actually set a little higher than 125, which is not a huge deal. There is a little fluctuation there, but some people honestly will take the top one and turn it all the way up. Well, these two feed off of each other. So what that means, they're gonna fight against each other because one's trying to do a different temperature. So you always wanna make sure those two are on the same page. If not, you're gonna burn out an element or a thermostat. So right now what we're doing is we're testing the bottom element. And as you can see, we're not getting any type of signal whatsoever. So that's why we're not getting any hot water to the heater, because the power is tripped, the breaker done its job, and the bottom element has burnt up, which was causing everything to work overtime, which tripped the breaker. It was drawing too many amps. So the problem with this heater is the water quality. So as I told you before, the homeowners bought this house years ago, just now got a water softener installed, and this thing's from 2008. So the problem with this is water quality. The sediment and stuff has just built up over time and has caused this element to burn out because it can't burn through all that rock and sand, which is calcium. So how we're gonna resolve this issue for this homeowner, we are actually gonna delete these two units. We talked to them about efficiency and they're really big into that. So what we're gonna do is delete these units, and then we're actually gonna put a tankless unit in, which is the most efficient water heater on the market, which gives you unlimited hot water whenever you need it. So things on a Mister Quik standard on a water heater that we would have done differently. For one, the power with Indiana code, there's supposed to be a disconnect for the electrical within hands of the water heater. That way if there's an issue, they can shut the power off right to it. In this situation, the power is out in the garage, so we would have to run all the way upstairs to get the power off. That's why it's code that it's supposed to have a quick disconnect right here. Another thing too is 18 inches of copper above a water heater. And then on the cold side, an expansion tank to help with thermal expansion on the water heater as well. So things that you can prevent from this happening, especially on an electric water heater: water quality. Membership program that we offer. We test your water, we make sure you got good soft water, it's working properly. We educate you on how long a softener will last. Plus we flush and maintain this. So two things you could do: make sure your softener's up to par, make sure it's set right, and make sure you stay on the membership program if you are a member, and keep this thing flushed on a yearly basis.